Welcome back to Cord Cutting Today, where we break down some of the biggest stories happening in the world of cord cutting, including today, Amazon's cracking down on counterfeit products, removing reportedly 7 million last year. So as a tie into cord cutting, I'm going to tell you why in a second. DirecTV is rolling out a new updated user interface for its streaming platforms, including right now its Gemini streaming platforms, but coming to Fire TVs, Roku's, and more soon. Pluto TV is adding more channels. These stories and more coming up in a quick second. First though, if you want to learn more about each story I'm about to talk about, check out the show notes down below and in the first pinned comment. I'll put a link to each story there so you can read about them for yourself and come up with your own opinion. I'd love to hear from you. If you're new here, do me a big favor, help us grow. Hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up, let YouTube know you enjoy what we do here. Doing one or both does just that. We would really appreciate your support. And hopefully we can help you break free from the high cost of television and still watch the shows you want. So with that said, let's dive into it. Amazon today released, or yesterday when you're watching this, I always record the night before, released their yearly look at what they're doing to protect the stores. And they say they removed 7 million counterfeit products and banned 700,000 sellers from its stores in 2023. Big thing here with cord cutting. A lot of this includes counterfeit streaming players preloaded with piracy. Amazon for years was known as a place you could go buy preloaded piracy boxes. And while they still pop up from time to time, Amazon has been aggressively cracking down on that to stop piracy. And now with this, 7 million devices and products have been removed. Amazon says they have scientists using machine learning to spot counterfeits and remove them. This is a big thing. A lot of counterfeit streaming players, IPTV services, and the like used to be widely sold on Amazon. They're cracking down on it. Why? Because they don't want to get sued. They don't want to be the next major lawsuit there. Look for that to continue to be hard. It's a bit of a game of cat and mouse. But Amazon's definitely cracked down on it. In the day where you used to find hundreds of pirate devices, it's much harder now than it used to be, especially in the United States. Keep a close eye on this. The war on piracy is heating up. This is one facet of it. We've talked a lot about IPTV services getting shut down as a major focus of media companies who are trying to cut their losses by making piracy more difficult. The selling of preloaded boxes through major stores like Amazon and others now seems to be the main focus there. We'll keep a close eye on that and let you know what's happening. All right, moving along, DirecTV. If you are a DirecTV streamer or DirecTV via internet customer, you may soon have a new user interface on your screen and updated look of your app. Right now, Gemini streaming players, which is DirecTV's Android-based streaming player that they sell, is getting the update first, but DirecTV says Roku, Fire TV, and more will get this new user interface coming later this year. Now, this will be called Your TV. It replaces the On Now hub. This is the new home screen. In it will be a collection of pick up popular channels that you've been watching, resume on demand and DVR programming, plus a heavy focus on sports. This is because let's be honest, it's the majority of what people are watching now are live events, news, sports, and the like through services like this. You'll also be able to find current sporting scores for major games. I'm assuming like all other platforms that will be optional, you could disable it. But if you're a DirecTV via internet or DirecTV stream customer, and you're still using the Gemini streaming player, you should see this rolling out soon. If you're using a bring your own device like a Roku, Fire TV, and the like, it should hit those devices later this year, DirecTV says. All right, Pluto TV is adding 3 new Warner Brothers Discovery channels. These include Warner Brothers Discovery Home Crashers, Ultimate Builds, and Rustic Retreats. Now this joins a growing number of channels that joined Pluto TV. Just last week, they announced 6 new channels that were announced earlier but are now live. Check it out, Pluto TV continuing to add more content, and Warner Bros. Discovery leaning heavily into the free ad-supported streaming world with their content. Of course, they have partnerships with the Roku channel, Tubi, Pluto TV, and others. We're seeing more and more content come from there. So keep a close eye on that. All right, if you are a Comcast customer, you get your internet from Comcast, you've been toying with the idea of getting their mobile plans, those wireless phone plans with data and talk and text. Well, Comcast has just cut the price to make them more attractive by as much as $20 a month and increased data allotments. Depending on what plans you have, if you are looking at the Comcast new Unlimited Intro or Unlimited Plus, your price for those plans have been cut between $5 and $20. This brings a single line down to just $40 a month, and 5 lines is now just $120 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data. You can also find an additional 20 to 30 gigs of data for your hotspot before it slows down. With this, you get premium additional 20 to 30 gigs of data, which is nice as a backup when you travel, when you need data. Now, if you're on their highest end, the premium ones, unlimited premium, no change with those plans. Those plans remain the same. This is for their intro and their mid-level, some of their most popular plans. Comcast and others are seeing increased pressure in online wireless plans. You got Mint Mobile, T-Mobile, Dish's Boost Mobile, and others, all driving down the price. Now, Comcast, Spectrum, and others are relying very heavily on mobile to try to prop up the companies. Now that both TV and internet customers are leaving them, and they're seeing losses in those departments, mobile wireless plans are becoming the one area they're really propping up to make their stock look good. This move definitely feels like it's targeted at making a big push to attract more customers. If you've been interested in this, it's a great time maybe to move and get Comcast unlimited plans there. Now, as always, I'm a big fan of competition. I think that's what's happening here. Not only do you have the big four, which now is T-Mobile, AT&T, Verizon, and Boost from Dish. Dish is actually the 4th largest provider of phones now, or mobile plans in the United States. But you have Comcast and Spectrum and others. And there's even thoughts that maybe Spectrum or Comcast would become the 4th largest and jump Dish's Boost. Increasingly, competition has come to wireless in a day and age where you used to have just a few to pick from. Now you have a lot more with Mint Mobile and so many other similar companies out there. I think this is great news, and this is kind of what I think we'll see is companies being forced to be more competitive in pricing, in terms, and in quality of service. Keep an eye on it. Let me know, are you a Comcast mobile customer? Do you like it? Let me know. Peacock has announced that it will be the exclusive streaming home for the first NFL game ever in Brazil on the Friday of opening weekend of the NFL season. In the 2024 NFL season opening weekend on September 6th, Peacock will exclusively be the home to watch the first NFL game in Brazil. This is the 3rd NFL game that Peacock's been the exclusive home for. Had a regular season game last year, had a playoff game this season, and now in the upcoming 2024-2025 season. For now, at least one with this Brazil game. Won't be surprised to find more. This company says Peacock is leaning heavily into sports to make it stand out, and it has exclusive sports rights to Big Ten football and select Big Ten football games, and select basketball games, select Notre Dame games, Olympics, Paralympics, Premier League, NASCAR, IndyCar Series, golf, and more. All has some exclusive content there for Peacock as it leans into sports to make it resilient there. If you're an Apple TV customer, our next story, you may have noticed since the last update your third-party remote. Some of those universal remotes from LG and Harmony and others have stopped working. Seems to be a bug with the latest update. Some people have reported that if you repair your remote every time you want to use it, it works, but every time your device goes to sleep, it becomes unpaired and doesn't work anymore. Hopefully Apple fixes this soon, but until then, you're going to have to use the original Apple TV remote to use your Apple TV, which is nice. It works great, but it does miss some universal features that some people may want with those devices. So check that out. Also, lastly, if you are a T-Mobile customer, before we get into the questions of the day, T-Mobile's free MLB.TV service that gives you free out-of-market games for a year has opened up registration. You need to go to the T-Mobile, what used to be called the T-Mobile Tuesday app. You need to go in there, claim this if you want it. You only have a few days to do this, so don't wait. But if you're a T-Mobile customer, you can, on a qualifying plan, you can get a free year of MLB.TV and watch out-of-market MLB games for free thanks to T-Mobile, plus get access to replays and all kinds of other content. Check it out. Again, limited time offer. Do not wait. All right, let's get into the question of the day. Every day I try to answer a question and from the comments. So if you have a question for me, leave a comment on this video. Start it off with something like a question for Luke. I may answer it in the comments. I may answer it here. Now, if I don't answer it, re-ask it. I'll do my best to answer it in the future. Sometimes they come in after I've recorded for the day, for example. But today's question says, Luke, will every movie ever made be online to watch at some point? That's a great question. Sure, I think that's very realistic, but there's a major problem here, and it comes down to rights and ownership. One problem we have, even as recent as the 90s, Babylon 5 is a great example of this. For a long time, Babylon 5's ownership was split between multiple companies, and they weren't getting along too well. And because of that, Babylon 5 was very hard to find on the digital space for a long time. Then the companies kind of re-merged together. Suddenly they were willing to work, and Babylon 5 was once again able to appear on places like streaming services. This gets much more complicated with some old reality shows. I went to the camp where the original Bug Juice was filmed, and a lot of people would love to see that 1990s Camp Wasiata Bug Juice there. Problem being is they don't have rights from all those kids and families to put their show on streaming is one of the things I've been told why it's not on Disney Plus and why some of those older 90s Disney Channel shows aren't on Disney Plus. It's because A, they would have to pay people, B, they don't have the rights to all that from all the people who appeared and worked on those shows. The contracts didn't, back then in the 90s, consider streaming when they were working on it. And that's something definitely for the older. Now, a few things will happen. Eventually, public domain could hit. And that's a public domain thing, we can throw it on if you're willing to wait that long. Increasingly, though, contracts and deals are being reached and struck to bring this old content to streaming. Because let's be honest, it doesn't make the money in the vault, but it could make the money on even if it's just on a free service like Warner Bros. Discovery's been doing to their content to Tubi, the Roku channel, Pluto TV, and others. I do think it will eventually happen, but I do think ownership issues, or split ownership of some TV shows and movies from back in the day is a problem. Contracts are a problem, but increasingly those are being worked through going forward. When will the day where pretty much everything you want to see be available for at least rent and purchase, right? I want to go to the Amazon or iTunes or whatever it's called now, store, and buy a movie and TV show. I'm willing to give you my hard-earned cash, but they're not willing to accept it yet. Someday I think that will happen. Will it all be in the Disney Plus app, Max, Peacock, etc.? Probably not. But I do see a day where you can rent and buy pretty much every movie and television show through a streaming service. How long that will take? I don't know. It's still a complicated issue, with the main issue being is a lot of these older contracts did not include streaming rights. One last quick example of that. It wasn't that long ago that NFL preseason games were blacked out on streaming service. NFL preseason games rights were sold separate from the main TV ones. That's why you sometimes see preseason games on things like the CW in a market. Well, when those were sold, they didn't include streaming rights. They didn't have legal rights to stream it. So until that contract ended, which most of them have now, everything is streaming online now for the NFL. But until those contracts ended and new ones were created that included streaming, you couldn't watch through a streaming service like YouTube TV or Fubo some NFL preseason games in select markets. Frosty the Snowman, another great example. Doesn't include the streaming rights for CBS, so it won't appear on streaming services. That will eventually work its way out. I hope that answers your question. I hope that gave you some great info. If you have any questions for me like that, leave me a comment about current or older issues. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, take care, be safe. I'll be back again real soon.